Hello and welcome to Business Insight, your one-stop show for anything business related. Here we enlighten you and educate you on anything you would be needing, to thrive in your industry. And as always, we would be talking to a guest on a very, very crucial topic that I believe is very, very important to everyone in business. Okay, so of course, to start off, my name is Adesua Iramosele, and today we will be discussing CAC compliance before and beyond registration. Yes, this conversation will be hinged on the recent news that came up about the Corporate Affairs Commission, announcing its decision to remove 91,843 companies from its registry as a consequence for their failure to submit their annual return. Now, this list, published on the Commission's website, shows a reduction of 2,738 companies from the initial count of 94,581 disclosed back in August. However, this figure is still part of the larger goal to delist 100,000 companies, a plan previously announced by the Registrar General and Chief Executive Officer Gaba Abubakar in July. Now, according to the report, this move aims to maintain the accuracy and compliance of the CAC's database, reflecting a commitment to ensure active and updated records of registered businesses. Now, before we go on, let's give you some understanding into the CAC compliance in Nigeria. Now, the Corporate Affairs Commission, is the body that basically regulates and oversees businesses in Nigeria. Now, the understanding of CAC compliance is essential for any business operating in Nigeria. All right, so this is what we'll be discussing. We've given you an overview of what the CAC compliance is all about, so you just have an understanding before we delve into what we'll be talking about today. And we have a guest who is right here in the studio with us by the name Nzeako Atuloma, and he is a legal practitioner and a managing partner of Synergy Law Partners. Welcome to the show, Mr. Nze.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So let's start. What did this news? How did it make you feel about the CAC looking to delist over 91,000 companies due to the fact that they didn't comply with their yearly returns? What would you have to say about that?
Thank you very much, Adesua. First of all, I would like to say that the step that the CAC, the Corporate Affairs Commission, is proposing to take is consistent with its powers and functions under the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and the Companies and Allied Matters Act 1990 before it. The Commission has plenary powers to administer the Act, and administering the Act means making sure that entities registered. I have used the word entities, not just companies, because it is not only companies that are registered under the Act and by the Commission. You have companies, different types of companies, then you have business names, then you have incorporated trustees who are also registered. And all these categories of entities are affected by the notice to comply with the requirement to file annual returns. So, as a professional, the notice reinforced my own belief in the powers of the Commission to do the needful, and also to make the point even stronger to our clients and to the business community that what needs to be done has got to be done today and not tomorrow.
Very well. Now, we know that so many companies, so many small and medium-scale enterprises are coming up every other day in Nigeria. you know, and some of them are not even exactly aware that there is such a thing as, you know, a CSC registration, for instance. Now, how would you advise that these people are enlightened about it? And when it comes to getting into or starting off the registration process, what are the requirements?
Thank you very much. Okay, so I remember that during the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari, there was an amnesty sort of, put together by the CAC as part of the government's drive then to encourage business under what was called the PBEC, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, for government basically to pay for the registration of SMEs. Okay, so you couldn't say I did not register my business and therefore move from informality to formality simply because I did not have money. Government was willing to pay for that. Okay, so but from the point of view of how people could get to know about the requirements and what they are expected to do, there you have lawyers. The Companies and Allied Matters Act recognizes certain categories of professionals who could advise in relation to companies. You have lawyers, you have chartered accountants, and you have chartered secretaries. These persons, these professional parties are there at the beck and call of the business community to advise and to guide and to handhold. Okay, so as to the requirements, the first thing to do is to make sure that you have settled on you have agreed on a name that is related to your business and not misleading, a name that is not already taken by someone else that could cause a conflict, because the CAC has to check each database and be sure that name is available to you. And then you gather your information. Basically, the CAC, as you said, is a registry. So, and when you talk about registries, certain things come to play. Your name, your address, your identification of official identification, passport. By passport, I mean travel passport, not passport as you see it on the Nigerian street. They say 5 minutes passport. And you wonder, really? A friend of mine, an expatriate, a friend of mine asked, you can get passports in Nigeria for 5 minutes. I said, no, they mean passport size photographs. No, because when you go out there on the street, they say 5 minutes per passport. And then really, you can get a passport in 5 minutes. Okay, so you get a passport, the data page to tell the registrar more about yourself. Okay, and then you pay the required fees. The fees are graduated according to the amount of share capital that you're hoping to raise. Okay, that you're authorized to raise. Then you pay that and pay the stamp duty that is required. That's basically it.
That's all. So if it's that easy, then why is it that so many businesses? Because sometimes we even get people saying things like, "I actually registered for it, but my name did not appear on the website," and all of that. What are the challenges that hinder people from actually, successfully registering for the CAC?
The challenges are no different from the reason why you still have people carrying bushy hair when there are barbers all over town. Okay? You have barbers all over town. You still have people carrying bushy hair. Okay, so you have lawyers, you have accountants, you have chartered secretaries there to advise. But then you still have people who fall through the crack of information opacity. Okay? So certain things could be responsible for that. But then you need to get the right advice per time and work with the person advising you. Truth is that you can register your company by yourself. You can register your company by yourself without the services of anyone. But then we know that when something becomes a discipline, when something becomes a discipline or a trade, it acquires some complexity of its own, which the layman may not be able to walk through in the absence of advice or guidance. So either you go on your own, register your company, you can do so. You are allowed by law to do so. Or you retain a professional to assist. Yeah,
okay, so
that's basic.
Which is better and more effective, registering online or registering physically? Because I know most of people who say they couldn't register successfully were those who probably tried registering online. Are there pros and cons to registering online, or is it better to just go physically to the organization and get your company registered?
There's no option currently to register physically. All the registration now is done online on a platform called the CRP, Companies Registration Portal. Okay, so that is the only way companies can be registered now, on the Companies Registration Portal. So if you have challenges with your registration, I shouldn't be speaking for the CAC, nor should I. But what you can do is they have customer care lines that you can call and post a complaint. You know, they put some questions to you as to what's the name of the company you're trying to register, what's the availability code, and other details that they could ask to satisfy themselves about what a complaint is and what they could do. So they will typically take it from there. I suspect I was speaking for the CAC there, which I shouldn't. Yeah, but it is what it is.
Yes. So how does the CAC, okay, just like you said, you can't speak for them, but I'm sure you have some understanding into how it works. How do they verify, you know, all of this, all of the documents presented to them by someone who intends to register his company? How does, you know, amongst the documents, how do they verify it to ensure that they are authentic?
Of course, these are the days of the information superhighway, and of course they have interagency cooperation. Truly speaking, you shouldn't have more than your national ID card to be able to be verified across channels and agencies and departments in Nigeria. But here we are. You have your national ID card, you have your voter card, you have a driver's license, then you have a travel passport, repeating the same information and data about you: your height, the color of your eyes, your national identification number, your date of birth, and all of that. Okay, so when you submit that to the CAC, they have their way of verifying that interagency, government to government. Okay, so it is the federal government is one, so the CAC knows how to check out the passport you submitted with the Nigerian Immigration Service. They have a way of checking out the NIN slip that you submitted with the NIMC, National Identity Management Commission. So they have their way of doing that. Yes.
Okay. So now let's go to the registration process. How does because when I checked just to confirm how much the CAC registration fee is, as of July it was about 12,000 naira. Well, I don't know how is that the same fee for every company, or does it depend on the size of the company? You know, does that determine how much they get to pay for registration of the CAC?
Yes. Yes. There's no flat fee. As I said at the beginning, what you pay varies with the size of share capital that you're trying to register with. Okay. So previously, the filing fee was 10,000 naira for 1 million naira or less, and then 10,000 naira for the next million, and so on and so forth, until the government of President Jonathan intervened and prevailed on the CAC to reduce that. So after the first 1 million, every other part of the capital is billed at 5,000 naira. So, for example, if you are trying to register a company with 20 million naira share capital, the filing fee you will pay to CAC will be 10,000 naira for the first million, and then 5,000 naira for each of the 19 more millions, right? Okay, so that is what you will pay. And then also the stamp duty, that one is a clear tax payable to the FIRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Service. So they graduate that also in what is called ad valorem, according to the value. So it is not a flat fee.
It's not a flat fee?
Yes.
Okay. So how does, because from what the CAC announced that they're going to remove 91,000 plus companies from their list. Now, how, just because they didn't, pay their annual returns. Now, this annual returns, how does it work? Because some people feel once they register for CAC, that is all they need. It's like a one-off, But here we are getting informed that it is supposed to be a year-on-year activity. It's supposed to be done annually. Now, in this regard, how can the CAC further enlighten people and educate people who don't know, that? And secondly, you just mentioned the fact that it is according to the size of the business. That's what is going to determine how much you would pay to the CAC. Now, what if over time the business increases or grows exponentially, or maybe it even decreases and they lose money and all of that? How can the CAC now determine how much they get to pay on a yearly basis?
Okay, thank you very much. Now I need to correct an impression there. Annual returns are not paid. I have heard many people use that term, pay, including lawyers also. Say pay annual returns. You don't pay annual returns, you file annual returns. Annual returns simply refers to a document by which you inform the government, the federal government of Nigeria, acting through the CAC, about the activities of the company for that year. So the monetary part of it is you don't do business with government for free. You have to pay money to get anything off government. That is the way to prove that you have done it, right? You want to get anything from any government of office, you have to pay some fee. That's the only way to prove that you have taken that step. So to file the annual returns, companies have to pay a fee, a filing fee. So the emphasis is not on the filing fee. The emphasis is on the document itself that informs the government about the activities of that company. Is that company indebted? To whom? Did that company do business? Did it run at a loss? What are the net assets of that company? Who are the directors for this year? Who are the shareholders for this year? Is any of the directors or shareholders an expatriate? If yes, from which country? These are things that the government wants to know. Some for statistical purposes, some for planning purposes, some for national security. Okay, so that is the idea of annual returns. Okay, so if it were possible to do it any other way without you paying money, that to be done too. But paying money and tendering a receipt is the official way to show that I have sent that document to you people, that this money I paid, and this is the receipt that I have to show that I have done so. Okay, so as to the amount of the filing fees, well, there's a graduated scale of charges for that. The CAC classifies companies for the purposes of this into small company and company other than small company. So for a company other than small company, you pay 5,000 naira per year to file that document. For companies other than small company, you pay 10,000. And other than small company, any company that has an expatriate as a shareholder or as a director is deemed other than a small company. Then any company that has a share capital up to 10 million is also deemed not to be a small company. So that basically is it. And also don't forget that the question of filing of annual returns boils down to the concept of what is called good standing. When foreign companies take legal opinions about Nigerian companies, there are some headings, some subheadings that they want to be advised about. One of that is good standing. So is that company in good standing? Good standing simply means, have they filed their annual returns? If we went to the company's registry now, would we find that company duly, registered and in good standing? They are not owing the government any documents or any money. That is good standing. So it is in the interest of companies themselves to ensure that they are in good standing.
Yes. Very well. Now, we know that CAC is not just there to collect fees and registration and all of that. They are also enacted to provide support to businesses sometimes when they need it. So now, how can small businesses access such support from the CAC?
Okay, well, I'm aware, just like I said earlier on, of the program that was run by the federal government in the course of the last 3 years or so to register some SMEs free of charge. Okay, so that is one. The other one is the CAC from time to time organizes seminars for businesses to attend. But the major setback to that is apathy. Many businesses, have that apathy to governmental activities, governmental interventions. Okay, so apart from that, the CAC's functions really don't compel them or expect them to provide extra support to companies in the form that you're asking about. Okay. They're regulators.
Okay. Yes. Now, the CAC also provides legal protection for brands, as well as gives credibility and secure financing and partnership. Now, how can businesses take advantage of this support? Leverage this support by the CAC, to be able to more like, have a competitive edge over their competition, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of brand protection, we need to be careful not to not to overlap or overstep the bounds and begin to talk about copyrights and trademarks and intellectual property. Okay. So, but the much that the CAC can and does do about brand protection is, you cannot register a company name that so closely resembles mine, whether as to spelling or as to pronunciation. So they will not allow you. They have a database. Once you propose to register any company, they will check through their database and advise you. The advice there is mandatory. You cannot say, I reject the advice. It's a mandatory advice. This name is unavailable, and they will tell you the reason. They will show you there's a company already registered that bears a name that may be confusingly similar to your name. That's one. Two, the CAC can compel existing companies to change their names. Yes. If somehow that name fell through the crack and got registered, and then the owners of the existing name get to know about it, they're allowed at law to write a petition to the CAC to compel them to compel that other company to change their name. It has happened to my client that we had to change the name. The CAC wrote a letter to our client, compelling them to change their name within a certain period of time, and we did so.
Very well. That's this is also informative and interesting. Mr. Nze, we would have to go on a quick break and return to continue this conversation. Stay with us.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, but keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching Sook News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Sook News. Guys, keep watching Sook News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Sook News is your station.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight, and we're discussing the topic CAC compliance before and beyond registration. We still have in the studio Mr. Nze Atuloma, who is a legal practitioner and a managing partner of Synergy Law Partners. Mr. Nze, now, say for instance, I run into trouble with my CAC compliance. What action can I take to come out of such situation?
Yeah, you're basically in a hole, so stop digging. Okay. Stop digging. Okay. So the list that the CAC has published of companies to be delisted is a warning, basically. So it is not a done deal. As you already observed, the list is reducing. So why is the list reducing? Companies are taking steps to stop digging the hole that they're in by preparing those annual returns in arrears and presenting them for filing. So once you have started the process of correcting that, the CAC would take your name off. Okay, so that list is not firm and fixed. It's just a warning to all and sundry that if by this certain date you do not come up to file your returns, we may delist those companies. So just prepare the annual returns. And what are the annual returns? There's a form, there's a prescribed form to complete, separate for small companies and another one for companies other than small companies. Don't forget, they are not called large or big. They are called other than small. Okay? So, and then there's another form for business names. There's another form for incorporated trustees. Okay, so just prepare that form. All that you need to attach to it is your audited financial statements. And if you have not been doing business, and therefore you have no financial statements to audit or to present, then you submit what is called statement of affairs. Statement of affairs simply saying we have been alive, even though we have been sleeping, but we have been alive, we did not die. We've been sleeping, okay, and in the course of, we have slept for the last 10 years, okay, so you can check, it is still us. So a skeletal statement of the affairs of the company, simply saying this is our name, this is our address, this is our share capital that we registered with. It is still there. These are our directors. These are our shareholders. Nothing has happened. This is us. Then an auditor will sign that. You attach it and file. But then, care must be taken not to make false statements there, because that's an offense under the Act, to make a false statement under the Act. Okay? So that is it, basically. When you're in a hole, you stop digging. Yes.
Nice advice there.
Yes.
Now, we know that there are so many companies, because so many businesses spring up every day, and many of them, you know, are not even thinking about ever registering on the CAC platform for any reason. They are still doing their businesses as usual, like nothing. So what is the consequence for not registering for the CAC?
Okay. Now, there is no requirement for you to register to do a business, unless the category of business that you want to do is by law required to be done by a registered company. Other than that, I, as a legal practitioner, have the right to practice my trade, my profession, in my name, in the name that I was born with and called to the bar with. I have the right to practice my profession in that. Nobody can ask me, are you registered or not? The question you should be asking me is, was I born or not? I was born and I'm alive. But once you want to do business in a name that is not your name, my name is Nzako Atuloma. If I say Nzako Atuloma, there's a signboard, Nzako Atuloma, legal practitioner. Nobody can quarrel with that. But if I say Nzako Atuloma Nzako Atuloma Consulting, I have now modified the name. It no longer looks precisely like me. So government will now like the public to be protected. It is called doing business as. So if you are Adesua, as you are, and you do business as SUA and Co., the government wants the public to be protected, for the public to know that the person behind SUA and Co. is Adesua, in case anything goes wrong. So that is why you then must register with the government, for the protection of the public, so that the public would have a place to check for the real particulars of this SUA and Co. Who is SUA and Co? They say it's Adesua. They will now have your full name and details and address with government. It's for the protection of the public. Okay? So, and the law provides some protection. If you carry on business as a company or as a business name or a limited partnership or a limited liability partnership, without registration, you have committed an offense. And when you're convicted, you could go to jail for 2 years or pay a fine.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's when you intend to, go that route, that's when you get to register. That's
Yes.
when the registration becomes imperative.
Yes.
But if you're doing your regular business, you're free.
In your name.
In your name, okay.
In your name, without any, if I could use the word, without any serere to your name.
Okay,
if it's just your name.
Just your name.
Yes, you don't owe anybody any registration. But once you introduce serere
into it, you have
to your name,
pay.
then you have to go and show all working to government.
Okay.
So that the members of the public can be protected against you, since there is no person born of woman called Suwa and Co.
Okay.
So they need to know. So government now needs to give birth to that Suwa and Co. And the public can go and check. While the public can go and check the register of births for Adesuwa, they cannot check for Suwa and Co. in the register of births. So, but they can go to the registry of artificial births. Companies are artificial persons. So they are born at the, so the company's registry, the CAC, is the artificial midwifery of companies. Because companies are citizens too. Limited ability companies are citizens and nationals of the country of their registration. Nationals and citizens of their country of incorporation. So the company's registry, in our case, the Corporate Affairs Commission, is the midwifery where they are born, and their registration and their birth details are there, and their birth mark is the register company number, which is called RC number. Okay, and sometimes companies change their names, but they can never change their RC number. You can change your name, change your type of business, but your RC number will remain.
Now, let's take, for instance, a company that wasn't in operation for over 10 years. They actually registered for their CAC and all that, and then they went underground for a couple of years. Now, now they want to come back on board.
Yes.
Do they still get to pay for the annual, payments they have to make?
Yes. You've got to.
For all the years they were not in business, I mean.
You're not filing annual returns because you are in business.
Okay.
Let's get that clear. You're not filing annual returns because you are in business. If you try to, if your interest is in a debate about whether you've been in business and all of that, then you should go to the FIRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, where they pay tax. That's where they can entertain debates as to whether you have been in business and therefore ought to pay tax or not, because you pay tax on your profit. We have been out of business. We've been moribund for 10 years. Where do you want us to get the profit to pay you tax from? That's go to the FIRS and make that debate. But for the CAC, they just want to know, have you been alive? We are not saying whether you have been active. You can be alive, but comatose. You've been in a coma, but you are still alive. Then we need to know that you have been alive and where you have been. Okay, so file that return. Return simply means report. It's just a technical term for report. Annual report. Yes. Okay. So return. Make a return. Okay. So
very well.
Yes,
okay.
Companies have to do that. Whether you've been doing business or not, you have to do it.
Okay. Now let's look at artificial intelligence. How can the CAC utilize artificial intelligence to enhance, better productivity?
Well, the opportunities are manifold, but I would caution. I would strongly caution against a hasty adoption. Hasty adoption. You see, technology is supposed to make life easier. But in Nigeria, we see that especially with government agencies, technology makes life a little more difficult for people. When I wrote JAM, for example, I simply bought, went to the JAM office and paid, and I was given an envelope containing forms to complete. I completed those forms, of course, with the aid of my big brothers and others. We completed those forms and returned them to the CAC with 2 self-addressed envelopes. The first self-addressed envelope for notification of my center, exam center, which came in the mail, box 86 at Omaya. The second self-addressed envelope was for the notification of my result, which came in the mail too. We just went to the post office and took it. But now JAM is doing online registration that you see youngsters, there are thousands out in the sun trying to do registration for JAM.
Okay, let's keep it at the CSC.
No. I'm saying even with the CSC,
okay,
they've adopted technologies. You already observed that from your findings, most of the complaints about registrations not going through are the ones being done online, right? Yes. So they shouldn't be in a haste to adopt some of these technologies. They should dimension them appropriately. Take it easy. They shouldn't rush into things. And be sure that when they adopt it, that they are ready, that the entire economy is ready for it. Otherwise, you do harm with an intention to do good, but harm nevertheless.
Indeed. Now, the CSC was enacted as of 1990, and how would you say it has evolved from then till now?
Yes, the CSC started as a department in the Federal Ministry of Commerce. They still have their cousins at the Ministry of Commerce, at the Federal Ministry of Commerce. The companies, the trademarks registry is still a department in the Ministry of Commerce. Okay, so they were like that until 1990 when the CAMA was enacted. Before then, it was the Companies Act 1968 that was enforced. Okay, so the CSC has managed to build up a bureaucracy of its own. They have grown, really, and also they have managed to amass a lot of powers to themselves. Yes, the CSC has plenary powers. They can almost do no wrong in the eyes of the law. They win most of their cases in court, because once the law has inserted that clause in the opinion, anything in the opinion, such other documents as the commission may require. Once you find that clause, such other document as the commission may require, that document can mean your marriage certificate. It can mean your birth certificate. It can mean anything that they say, bring that document. You say, why? They say, we want to see. You say, it's not relevant. You want to tell us what is relevant or not. We have the power at law to require such other documents as in our opinion will be required. And we want to see it. Okay? So you apply for a name, they can reject the name, with or without reasons. Yes. The cases have been litigated up to the Supreme Court, including the one between the CSC and somebody called Amasike. It's a reported case, a Supreme Court case, where the Supreme Court said the CSC had, plenary powers to decide on names to register or not. Yes.
That's so. Now, on a final note, so to speak, I would also like for you to add your final thoughts to while you're answering this question. What would you say of the future of the CSC? Do you think it will just keep increasing in size? Ensuring that, and how also can they ensure that more businesses are registered?
Thank you very much. I think I see a future of what is called company and industrial property office. In many countries, it is the same office that registers companies, that registers trademarks, that registers copyright, that registers patents in the same office. Okay? So that you're not having to deal with different agencies for things that you could do with one agency. And also, the proliferation of agencies also has consequences on the economy, because each agency will have a chief executive with the full complement of office and staff and all of that and allowances. Okay? Don't forget, the more the agencies and chief executives you have, the more money that you and I spend maintaining them. This is one of the charges that the colonists in America had against King George in the Declaration of Independence. They say that he has appointed a swarm of officers. He has created a myriad of offices and appointed a swarm of officers to eat out our substance. So, eating out our substance, you have too many DGs, too many executive secretaries, too many MDs for functions that could be combined. You could have departments dealing with those. Okay, so I see a future. I'll prefer a future where you have a unified, companies and industrial property office, so that once you visit the CAC or whatever the name may become, then you're dealing with matters in corporate matters and also dealing with intellectual property matters.
All right. So on a final note, of course, we have practically run out of time on the show. It's been a very interesting session with you, Mr. Nze. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Insights. It was so good having you. And that's it on Business Insights today. Many thanks to you for joining us. On behalf of the team, we say a big thank you. Join us again tomorrow for an even more interesting and packed package, okay? All right, see you tomorrow. I'm Adesuwa Ramaseli. Bye for now.